25 years later, Star Trek finally makes a fan-favorite DS9 couple canon. For decades, Star Trek Deep Space Nine has lived in a special corner of fandom, one where bold storytelling, morally complex characters, and rich world-building collided in ways no other Trek series dared to venture. Among its many layered relationships, none captured the quiet yearning of fans more than the subtle, electric connection between Elam Garak, the enigmatic Cardassian Taylor and ex-spy, and Dr. Julian Bashir, Starfleet's idealistic young medical officer. Now, a quarter century after DS9's finale, Star Trek has finally done what fans have whispered about, debated, and created endless fan fiction for. It made Garak and Bashir canon. A relationship that was always there in code. When DS9 first introduced Garak in the episode Past Prologue, his odd behavior and charming eccentricities intrigued viewers. But it was his relationship with Bashir that truly lit up the screen. The two struck an unlikely friendship, a calculating former Obsidian Order agent and a wide-eyed Starfleet doctor filled with banter, mystery, and tension that transcended friendship. Actor Andrew Robinson, who played Garak, famously stated that he played Garak as pansexual and flirtatious toward Bashir. He even confirmed in his novel A Stitch in Time that Garak was deeply attached to Julian, but this was, for many years, semi-canon at best. Despite mounting fan enthusiasm, Deep Space Nine never fully committed to the romantic implications. Showrunners like IRA Stephen Bear acknowledged the chemistry, but were constrained by the era's network limitations and fears of backlash. In the 90s, two men in a romantic relationship on a primetime science fiction show was too bold a move. So the relationship remained ambiguous, charged, suggestive, and heartbreaking in its unrealized potential. A canonical comeback in Strange New Worlds? Fast forward to Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 6. A surprise holodeck simulation reveals that Dr. Bashir and Garak were once more than friends, in a storyline that explicitly acknowledges their romantic bond. In a clever narrative twist, Ensign Boimler of Lower Decks fame, thanks to the crossover, stumbles upon a collection of historical holo-recordings from DS9's crew, compiled by Section 31. One entry, partially classified, features a conversation between an older Bashir and an unseen person. As Boimler observes from outside the hologram, Julian speaks of the man who always kept me on my toes, who never let me forget that gray areas were real, and that sometimes love hides behind secrets. The hologram ends with a quiet toast to Elam. More than just a wink, this episode is framed around exploring how past relationships shaped Federation heroes. And in a later scene, Unachin Riley and Captain Pike discuss the recording with empathy and respect, affirming that Bashir's relationship with Garak was as real and powerful as any we've known. That's not just subtext. That's text. Why it matters, then and now. For longtime DS9 fans, this moment is more than nostalgic validation. It's emotional closure. It's an acknowledgement that two of Trek's most compelling characters shared a bond that ran deeper than friendship. For queer fans especially, it's a powerful gesture, one that recognizes representation in retrospect and dares to rewrite the history that was once kept at arm's length. Back in the 90s, Garak and Bashir couldn't be openly queer. Today, their story is finally allowed to exist in the daylight, not just as speculation or subtext, but as part of the official Star Trek canon. And it's not just about affirming queerness. Their relationship was unique, not a traditional love story, but one forged in the crucible of espionage, war, idealism, and tragedy. Bashir's moral clarity clashed with Garak's calculated pragmatism, but the two grew from their interactions. Garak helped Julian shed his Navi. Julian helped Garak rediscover compassion. A quiet epilogue to a loud war. The post-Dominion war years have been left largely unexplored on screen, but Strange New Worlds offers a glimpse. Bashir lived long enough to reflect, to record memories, and to name his love. Garak's fate remains more mysterious, though Robinson has hinted in interviews that Garak may have survived and returned to help rebuild Cardassia. Could we see them together again in a future episode? A flashback, a final reunion, even a message from Garak tucked in a subspace transmission? The door is open. Trek's legacy of redemption and representation. This isn't just a win for one pairing. It's part of Star Trek's broader journey toward more inclusive storytelling. From Discovery's Paul Stamets and Hugh Culber to Strange New Worlds' nuanced depictions of gender and identity, Trek continues to push forward. Making Garak and Bashir canon isn't about retrofitting the past. It's about finally recognizing what was always